She is Hollywood's relatable, cool girl, the pizza-eating, stumbling Oscar winner who charmed the world. But behind the infectious laugh and the golden statues lies a story of violation and resilience that few truly understand. Jennifer Lawrence's journey wasn't paved with red carpets. It was forged in anxiety, stripped bare by a digital crime, and rebuilt through the quiet strength of motherhood. This is the untold truth of a woman who had to lose herself to find her peace. Long before the cameras flashed, she was just Spark on a horse farm in Louisville, Kentucky. Growing up with two older brothers meant she had to be tough, playing rough games in the dirt. She was a tomboy by necessity, but inside a storm was brewing. While she looked wild and free, she was battling severe hyperactivity and a crushing social anxiety. She felt like an alien in her own skin, constantly searching for a place to fit in. The farm was her sanctuary. But it wasn't enough. School was a nightmare of isolation. She struggled with a deep sense of not belonging, her anxiety making every day a battle. But then she found a strange medicine: acting. When she stepped into a character, the noise in her head finally stopped. It was the only time she felt normal. The spark turned into a blazing fire. She knew she had to leave Kentucky. At 14, she convinced her parents to take her to New York City, a trip that would change the trajectory of her entire life. It happened on a sidewalk. A model scout spotted her, and suddenly, the dream was real. But the path wasn't glamorous. She lived in a rat-infested apartment, auditioning relentlessly while facing rejection after rejection. Her conviction was so terrifyingly strong that she made a radical choice. She dropped out of middle school. No diploma, no GED, just a singular focus. She had to convince her worried parents that gambling her education was worth the shot. It was all or nothing. She broke in with The Bill Engvall Show, playing the sitcom daughter, but she craved more. The industry was brutal. She auditioned for the role of Bella Swan in Twilight and was rejected. While it felt like a failure then, it was a blessing in disguise. Instead of vampire romance, she found her way to the gritty Ozarks of Winter's Bone. This wasn't just a movie. It was a test of endurance that would strip away every layer of vanity she had and prove her raw talent to the world. To become Ree Dolly, she stopped acting and started living the hardship. She chopped wood, skinned squirrels, and lived in the freezing mud of the mountains. The poverty and desperation on screen were mirrored by the physical toll it took on her. The performance was visceral, a scream of survival that echoed all the way to the Academy. At just 20 years old, she received her first Oscar nomination. The industry was shocked, but Jennifer was just getting started. A star was born. Then came the blue paint. Joining the X-Men franchise as Mystique meant hours of torture in the makeup chair, but the real battle was internal. She faced the brutal scrutiny of Hollywood's beauty standards. Labeled a fat actress by industry insiders, she fought a war against body image issues. She refused to starve herself, defying the toxic norms. She was becoming a hero on screen, but off-screen she was fighting to keep her self-esteem intact in a superficial world. When the offer for Katniss Everdeen arrived, she didn't celebrate. She panicked. She knew saying yes meant her life would change forever. The fear of losing her anonymity was paralyzing. She almost turned it down, terrified of the massive fame that destroyed so many others. But the character's strength called to her. She underwent grueling archery training and physical transformation, molding herself into the Mockingjay. She accepted the burden, stepping into the fire willingly. The Hunger Games exploded, becoming a global phenomenon. Jennifer wasn't just an actress anymore. She was a symbol of rebellion for young girls everywhere. But the price was steep. The paparazzi declared war on her privacy. She could no longer walk down the street or buy coffee without blinding flashes. Her private life was dead. She fought back, refusing to be a puppet, but the walls were closing in. The girl from Kentucky was trapped in a golden cage of her own making. At 22, she reached the summit. Her performance in Silver Linings Playbook was electric, leading to a Golden Globe and an Oscar. But the night of triumph became iconic for another reason. She fell on the stairs. That stumble, combined with her unfiltered humor, cemented her status as the anti-Hollywood star. She was the cool girl everyone wanted to be friends with. But while the world laughed with her, a darkness was gathering on the horizon that would shatter her world. 2014 brought a violation so deep it nearly broke her. In the iCloud hack, private, intimate photos were stolen and blasted across the internet. It wasn't just a leak, it was a digital sexual assault. The world she entertained suddenly felt like a predator. The shame was suffocating. She couldn't leave her house, terrified to look anyone in the eye. The internet, once a place of fan adoration, became a weapon of mass humiliation. She felt like her body no longer belonged to her. Advisors told her to apologize, to do damage control. Jennifer refused. She chose anger over shame, declaring, "It is not a scandal, it is a sex crime." It was a powerful stance for victims of digital abuse everywhere. She transformed from a victim into a warrior for digital privacy. But the trauma lingered. For years, she felt a dissociation, as if her body was public property. The happy-go-lucky girl was gone, replaced by a woman who knew the cruelty of the world. She tried to reclaim her agency with Red Sparrow, using nudity as a form of empowerment, attempting to make peace with her body on screen. But the relentless pace was taking its toll. She was suffering from severe burnout. "Everyone got sick of me," she said, "and I got sick of myself." The joy of acting had turned into a robotic obligation. The spark was fading. She realized she was running on fumes, trying to please a public that was increasingly critical of her every move. She made a drastic decision. She vanished. Stepping away from the spotlight was the only way to save herself. During this hiatus, she met Cook Maroney, a man from the art world, far removed from Hollywood's madness. Their relationship was a secret sanctuary. For the first time in years, she had something just for herself. They engaged in private and married in Rhode Island with only close friends. It wasn't a performance. It was real life. She was learning to breathe again, but the road to family was paved with silent tragedies. Her first pregnancy ended in a miscarriage, a quiet grief she carried alone. She got pregnant again, but fate was cruel. It required a medical intervention, a D&C, due to complications. It was a crushing blow, forcing her to confront the political reality of women's bodies while mourning her own loss. These were pains the cameras didn't see, the private battles of a woman desperate to become a mother amidst her trauma. She returned to the screen with "Don't Look Up," but it wasn't easy. During filming, she broke a tooth and couldn't get it fixed due to pandemic restrictions, acting through the discomfort. It was a metaphor for her resilience. She was back, but different. The desire to please everyone was gone. She was working on her own terms now. The industry had changed, and so had she. She was no longer the naive girl from Kentucky, but a seasoned survivor of the Hollywood machine. Then came the third pregnancy, and finally, her son Cy was born. Motherhood brought a love she had never known, but also a terrifying new anxiety. Can I protect him? She wondered constantly. The paparazzi were no longer just an annoyance. They were a threat to her child. Her lioness instincts kicked in. She fought fiercely to keep Cy's face out of the tabloids. The violation she suffered years ago made her hyper-vigilant. She would burn the world down to keep him safe. With no hard feelings, she returned to her comedy roots, but with a new confidence. She wasn't afraid to look foolish or raw. She embraced her age and the changes in her face, shrugging off rumors of plastic surgery. She accepted aging as a privilege, not a curse. The desperate need for validation was replaced by a sense of fun. She was acting because she loved it again, not because she needed to be the world's sweetheart. The laughter was finally real once more. She stepped into the role of producer, taking full control of her narrative. No longer just a face for directors to mold, she was calling the shots. She curated stories that mattered to her, championing women's voices. This was the ultimate victory over the helplessness she felt during the photo leaks. She built a fortress around her life, allowing the public in only when she chose. The power dynamic had shifted. Jennifer Lawrence was no longer the product. She was the boss. Jennifer Lawrence's story is not a fairy tale. It is a survival guide. From the rat-infested apartments of New York to the humiliation of a global cybercrime, she endured the darkest sides of fame. She broke, she burned out, and she rebuilt herself in the shadows. Today, she lives on her own terms. A mother, a wife, and an artist who refused to let the world steal her soul. The girl who played with fire didn't just survive the flames. She learned how to control them.